this looks. It could be okay. Sun is just right there, so you shouldn't be blinded. And you get a better view, which is good. Badonkadonk day, your glutes, more important than, you know, keeping your pants up, which is a problem with a lot of guys. The pants are falling off. And because I'll say contradictory things. It's, oh, the glutes are too tight. You should feel the stretch in your glutes. Well, the glute max, there's lots of glute muscles. There's 3 big ones, and there's tiny little external rotators. So those external rotators, the hips being rotated opening the hips, those are often very, very tight. And then the glute max itself, it becomes atrophied and weak. But if your glutes are completely turned off, you're just gonna fall forward. You're not gonna be able to stand erect. So it's not that they're atrophied, it's they're weak in full ranges of motion, like the squat. And we don't need a lot of hip thrusters. We're gonna do some today, like bridges, and like how can you do that with a kettlebell? So we'll explore that today. But usually when people do hip thrusters, they're loading out a lot of weight. And usually you see the girls doing it, not the guys. Guys need butts too, okay? But we can get the same glute activation just in our squats. Working on that external rotation, but then driving deep into the squat. That's really gonna challenge those external rotators in a way that are just not worked. So they'll be strong in a fuller range of motion. So it's not all as simple as we make it out to be. But let's get started. I started early so I could talk a little bit. Get your water. So you got a yoga block there. You're probably not gonna need that. Again, you don't even need a kettlebell or anything, but we'll start with some bands. Don't need bands, just gonna help us with that idea. Let's talk about it. Wrap it around your knees, and we'll do some hip openers. Sure, you can see me. This band's a little too loose, but we'll make it work. So walking the feet up a little bit closer to the hip where that's comfortable. Then back, then what's comfortable. And as I lift, I open up against the band. I'm trying to get those glutes to fire, to really raise up. So pretty much my upper T-spine and head are still touching. Opening up. Squeezing those glutes back down. Keeping my whole foot down. A lot of people, they stay on the heel. Keep the whole foot there for now. So we can plant the ball, the big toe. You can grip the mat a little bit. Driving up. I even like when people push too. Push with your arms. Open up those hips, get that shape. Drive a little deeper. If people do this when I work on their necks. Think about the breath now. Breathing. Let's pull the front of the rib cage down a little bit. Then go. Feel your hip flexors a little bit more. Squeeze. Now let's try a few. Feet a little farther away. We'll lift the toes up. This is going to make it a little tougher. Not going for numbers here, we're going for the burn. Burn those glutes out. Next one we're going to do, lose the band, is a foundation training move, which I'm going to have to relocate for. Anchored bridge, more about turning the hips in now. You're going to feel those hip flexors a lot. You're going to feel your hamstrings a lot. So maybe knees bent 6 inches off the ground. I'm wrapping and squeezing. I'm not going to lose this wrap and squeeze. Hugging those inner thighs. Press up this sphere. You're driving your body into the ground. Dorsiflexing, big toes together, heels 2 to 3 inches apart. Squeezing. And then we're going to lift the hips by pulling our heels hard into the ground and towards our butt. Bringing those hips up just maybe an inch. You should feel your hamstrings immediately. Let's push a little bit harder with the right thigh and the left. Push a little harder, left thigh into the right. Equal squeeze. Hands down, lower the hips. Do a little crunch, tighten your stomach. Peel your head back down. Lower the front of the rib cage. Let's grab onto the mat. Pulling with your fingertips just like your heels are pulling. Big inhale. Pull your heels towards your butt. Lift. Float the hands up to sphere. Bring that sphere overhead a little bit. Get your lats working. Reach with the left hand. Reach with the right hand. Reach with both hands. Good. Down. All right. If you've never felt your hamstrings before, that should have helped you. Realize where they are. Putting them in a lengthened position, forcing them to work. It's gonna wake them up. We wanna feel our hamstrings in a lot of this stuff. Hamstrings and quads, we get into the weeds of what they're doing. It's not as simple as when the hamstrings working so the quad shuts off. During the squat, there's a lot of different activations and inhibitions taking place. And you don't have to understand it. All right, so we do a little bit of this dragon squat. So maybe you want a yoga block for this. Don't go very deep. So if I got my right foot, I'm gonna reach with my left hand. It's just about bringing that leg across the body where you're gonna feel that glute really work. Now we'll do a similar exercise later with a twist like this called the Bulgarian split squat. So I'm just reaching through. You should feel your glute a little bit. Then try with the leg to press yourself up. So you feel that glute start to work. You don't need the block. You can even use a kettlebell handle. Let's see if we can just kick through my narrow space here. And down, I'm reaching. So even though I don't have great ankle mobility, I can still get the benefits of this by driving out of that position. You don't have to hold it for that long. I'm a little bit over with my left. I'm gonna move this way so I've got room to kick. And I'm taking the right leg. So I'm hinging still, looking over the edge of the cliff. Hips reaching back as the knees bending. Hand comes down, I feel it stretching. So I'm putting it into a lengthened position. Now I'm forcing it to work. Now people can go way down. A lot of people have that great knee over toe. They can go really deep into this. If you're like me or the ankle's just not allowing it, it's okay. Use the block, use the kettlebell. You don't have to go very deep. Still gonna feel it. You're still gonna get the benefit of that exercise. A little more range of motion on this side. And just because you have a better range of motion doesn't mean that's gonna be stronger. You used to always think, oh, I need to do everything on my right because that's got the restricted range of motion. Not necessarily true as far as what muscles are weak, especially if you have an injury like me. It just confuses everything. All right, so about 5 each side. Just help loosen up the glute, get some good activation. Oh, that's a great stretch. So, feet underneath the hips. Do some foundation training squats. So slight external rotation, the hips are turned out just a little. We're gonna hinge the hips back. Got our hands right on our hip socket because we can feel that hip moving back. And as I reach, we'll go to our sphere and do a squat. So I'm not gonna get very deep, especially with this narrow stance. Some people can. Keep opening up the hips. As we hinge, drive your heels into the ground, drive the knees apart. That's about all I got right there. I can go farther, but my butt's gonna tuck. I'll show one from the side. Let's do 5 of those. Feet under the hips. Hinging first. Setting up the hips back. Hips continue to reach back as the knees bend and open up. Going right there. I don't want to do this. We're stiffening the spine, trying to maintain that length best we can. The hinge is great for that. It also reminds our hips to initiate. They're the big movers, they're the powerhouse. The knee's the supporting structure. Don't let the knee lead. Don't let your low back lead either, for the love of God. Everyone does that. Everyone starts bending at your low back. Here we're stiffening the low back. We're gonna go wider in a second. I know you hate the narrow. Maybe you love it. I hate it. Step out. Shoulder width apart now. This is the more common squat for people. It's where they're more comfortable. If you just jumped in the air and caught yourself, probably where you'd land about shoulder width apart. Same thing. Let's change it to a platter, mix it up. You're already in that platter here. You're hinging. Not really thinking about spiraling the hips just yet. If anything, they're probably rotating in. When we hinge, they naturally internally rotate. It's when I go into the squat, the knees start bending. That's when they spiral outwards. Probably get a little deeper here. So again, I'm consistently reaching my butt back. Hinging. I'm continuing that. Continuing the hinge. As I reach, or at least probably not, doesn't look like it's continuing, but I have to keep pushing back to balance out the bend of the knee. Open up. Get 5, 6 or 10. With me talking, you probably got like 20. Sumo, nice and wide. This is more about, well, not what feels comfortable, but just not as wide as you can go. So we're not gonna be able to go anywhere. But let's really try to double it up from the shoulder at least. Don't go way out with the feet, just a little bit. Normally I say knees at least going over the third toe. If you can get a little bit wider, that's probably better right now. Just think, let's try to get into the outside edges of the feet. Most often what I see is the knee goes inside the foot. So that hip still, it's not tracking, the glute's not getting to fire at the bottom of this sumo squat. So we'll do platter, but more with one hand. So we can keep one hand here to remind the hip where it's going. It's a hinge. And then as I squat, I open up, reach with one hand, other hand's just here. It's reminding I'm squeezing those glutes. Get 10 of these. This is where the glutes really love to work. Or maybe love did not work. Yeah, what do I see with people? How do you know your glutes aren't working? If you're just doing this. If you're looking down at the ground, your glutes aren't firing to open up the hips to keep you upright. So you should be looking maybe 10 feet at the ground in front of you. A lot of people arch their body too much. So they're coming back, they're opening up, and then they're doing this, like, yeah, I'm looking up, I'm looking up. We don't want that either. Don't extend your spine. Same principles before, we're stiffening the spine. So the breath comes in, stiffen. As I hinge, pretty much I'm keeping that little bit of angle. Head's reaching up towards the ceiling, I'm stiffening the spine. So I'm looking 10, 15 feet in front of me at the ground, but I'm still upright. I'm not looking right directly underneath me. Get those glutes to fire just a little bit to open you up. Let's squeeze the glute on the left. Squeeze the glute on the right where the hand is. That glute to open up the hip. One more each side. I know you've probably done a lot. Too much talking today, I know. All right, let's get into the workout. That was a good warm up. So all those we went over in class, and we'll hit those again Tuesday as our warm up. Bridge, pretty simple. It's that anchored bridge from foundation training. That's probably the most complicated, but really good. So you can check that one out on foundation training site. We got that. And of course the FT squat, that's all in phase 3. Now's the kettlebell time. So we can go back to our bridge. I brought my 50 with me. Just because, like I said, not a bridge, a hip thruster. Pretty easy with 50 pounds. Just to give you a little bit of work. So let's pound out 20 of these guys. You're the goats today. They want in. They're tired of goat yoga. They want some goat foundation training. So I usually target one hip since it's so lightweight. So I'll do 10 on one side. So I'm loading my left hip. Opening up. You could also do this little kickstand with the right to really get one glute to fire, but wherever you're at. So now I'm just working on the left. Still driving the hip open. Let's put that 50, what is this? 24 kilograms. I don't know what that is in pounds. 52, 53. So wherever you feel the burn. Maybe 10, maybe a few more. You know me, I'm gonna talk, you got time. Really trying to fatigue this a little bit more, get it to shake. You can also take your yoga block. It's awkward. You can put it on the upper T-spine. Just to give you, like a lot of people do a hip thruster. I don't know, like a tire or a block or a bench. Just to give them some height so they can go deeper. Here my butt hits the floor. So even a yoga block's gonna give you an inch or two. We're making it work with what we got. A lot of people don't like the yoga block there, it hurts. It's actually a great mobility tool. I'm talking about it a lot, so I'll just demonstrate quick here. Right here. You can even flip it. Flip it long ways here. I want to do the other long ways. So, upper back right on there. Then when I bridge, a little more height. I can go up a little bit more. Keep the neck really stiff, whole spine really stiff. Just let that hip go. That feels like a great massage to me. Probably won't to you. As I got some extra rounding there, pushes my head forward. So this can help me really work on my neck. Heck, I did this with a kettlebell there, so yoga block feels like a cloud to me. But a lot of people are sensitive there. I guess we gotta even it out. Keep going. If you're not feeling the burn yet, just do a few more. Feel that left, that's a little weaker. Yeah, you can probably double this up with kettlebells too. One on each side. It's probably just awkward getting there. All right, nice. Yeah, a lot of people will do this to work on their lats. I'll put the handle towards them. Mid-back right there. It's a space issue. So normally they don't do the bridge. You can. It feels good. But usually they'll keep the hips down. Just reach overhead and you can, I don't know if you heard that, but opened up a little bit. So nice about this is it rolls with you. I'll break that up. So that feels really irritated. Come see your chiropractor. I'll help you. But it shouldn't be sore in there. That doesn't hurt at all. Now we're doing a swing to squat. So we swing, catch it for a goblet squat, 20. These are pretty easy, so I'm gonna go right to the 50. That's why I brought this boy home. Little wider stance that we're in the squat stance. It's not normally what I teach for the swing, but we're doing it since we're doing the squat. Hinging. Double hands. This is a little awkward. Is the catch. Swing really isn't what you get it. It's probably just a little scary at first. Squat, opening up. Swing. Slow the squat down, even I'm rushing it. Like, ooh, 20, we gotta get through. Take your time, really open up. Especially if you're feeling your low back tweak at the bottom of the squat. Just open up. I think I felt my left side joint. It didn't hurt, but it's enough to know, like, okay, I started to mobilize from my low back to get a deeper squat versus the hips staying in control. I'd rather see you do 10 of these than 20 bad ones. I love breaking this up. A little kettlebell swing. Resets our hips. Just like we were doing with the foundation training squat. Reset my feet. So, you're probably at 20. I'll try to catch up. Oh, shift left to right. Whew. Should be feeling those glutes, among other things, but at least feel the glutes. Whew. Oh, yeah. Whew. All right, there might be somebody out there counting. I wasn't counting, so maybe I was in 20. Sorry if I'm cheating you. So there's a new one. We've done Turkish get-ups before. This is a half get-up, but this is something I've never seen before, but I really liked it. Maybe I'll try it with the 50 in a second, but start light. This is 25. And maybe you looked at the list, you're like, you're not in order. I'm sorry. Going off this. Just want a break. So let's start from this position. So, knee bent, that's got the kettlebell. It's gonna press overhead, right hand's down, and I'm gonna bridge. Get that glute to work. Now we're coming back down, working on our overhead mobility here a little bit. 10 of these. Squeezing. Will you remember this part of the Turkish get up here? We don't really ever go into this, but we do this before we kick through, right? It's a nice little movement if you want to add that. Too easy. Add that little thread the needle. We don't even really focus on this as much in the Turkish get up. Getting those glutes to work does help. I don't know if that was 10 again. Feeling bad, cheating. Little green chips everywhere. My green bell's falling apart. Same knee bent. Bridging up. Down slow. Add a few if you want. Most people, they skip the bridge and they just quickly go through, but really working it all the way up. So we're gonna help you with your Turkish get-ups in the future. Has to be 10. That was the next part, see? All right. So they don't need to block for it. And the Bulgarian split squat, we're gonna make it look more like the dragon today. Watch your toes. So people elevate a lot more than this, but people also point the toe. So if you're using the foot like a kickstand, you get a little more height. It's gonna feel a little bit more like a normal Bulgarian. If you're not there yet, don't. The reason we put the block is to just weight the forward leg even more. I think we'll do 50. Might regret that decision. I like to just set it there, set up. The good thing about the block is I can just move that. So, left leg outside the kettlebell. The inside hand is grabbing. Right foot on the yoga block. If it's too wobbly, this is pretty firm mat, so it's handling it pretty good. And just before you lift the weight, make sure that feels comfortable. Angling the torso, just like your shin is angled, with the kettlebell there. And what I tell people is, kettlebell and knee should touch the ground pretty close to the same time. But we're shooting to put it right here. Let's do a few just right down before I confuse you. So stiffen the spine, and I'm just pressing with one leg. Right? Putting all that weight on that left hip. So just down, there. So let's try to get 9 more, but some people just don't feel the glute. They'll really feel the glute if we add that little twist like we did in the dragon. I'm spiraling over top that forward leg. You do the same thing in a lot of foundation training exercises. Like the woodpecker or the reverse archer. That dragon thing we just showed you. It was more like the lazy dragon. Oh, the sleepy dragon. The 7 a.m. dragon. Oh, really burning the glute. This is burning my glute more than anything else I've done today so far. Oh, I think that was 9. Bonus. That felt pretty good with that yoga block. Again, it's gonna be a little harder. Still able to put a little weight on the back foot. But if we raise that up even more, some people use way too much of a height. I used to do it on a box. When you start feeling it in your knee, that's not the goal. Glute. Feel the stiffness here. I'm working a lot of these muscles in the front to bring me down. That's why we're slowly tapping the knee down. 10 on the other side. So it shouldn't be a thunk. It's a tap and go. Same with the kettlebell. Tapping and going, don't thunk. A lot of people round. If the kettlebell is touching the ground before your knee, you probably are rounding your back. Right? Just makes sense. That's reaching first, which means your hips haven't hinged and your knees haven't bent enough. It's getting hot now. Woo. Hip, keep it in the hip. That was the moral of that story. Shouldn't feel any knee pain. Shouldn't even, like, not even pain, like uncomfortableness shouldn't be in the knee. That's where we're taking timer, making sure we got, and this is the annoying thing for everybody, is finding the good distance. That's why I do one first. Like, does that feel all right? Let's check this out. Knee went down first. I'll allow that. The knee's coming down way before. You're probably too upright, which is causing extension of the spine either, which is also bad. Not everyone's old man. A lot of people are what I call the cheerleader. They're too opened up. So that's why I say angling your torso the whole time, just like the shin is angled. It's gonna mirror. I'm gonna scoot just a hair. It also might tell me that my position was off. Let's try that one more time. Other hand, I'm just get it off the leg. Get it out there, nice and stiff. Boom, even. I thunked that on purpose so I could hear the da-dung. So now we'll go over. That was bad, right? The thunk before the thunk. The harder one. Surgery ankle. One more for the surgery ankle. Oh, it's just right there. Should be a wrapping, burning wonderfulness. All right. So in class, we're gonna do some ring rows, but we can just do either bent over rows. It's been a while since I've done heavy renegade rows. I love those. Go wider with the stance. Yeah, your glutes are gonna be working a little bit. Definitely your abs. And get those delts, the rear delts to fire. This is too hard. Let's do bent over row. So you can just do one kettlebell, double dumbbell. I like one-sided. Kettlebell, it is a one-sided creature. Because we are all one-sided. God made you. A little asymmetrical on purpose. Everyone's got less core strength on the left, just because that diaphragm is smaller. That hip flexor's connected. So, doing doubles all the time, barbell stuff, you might not be working on imbalances as much. You're not gonna get super beastly with kettlebells, but you should feel better. The back is feeling so good. So I like these together, touching. I'm gonna try to row the 50. Make sure I got some clearance there. I think I'm fine, but just in case. I think it bothers you when something's really close to your hip. So wider with the feet, it's gonna help your balance anyways. I feel the glutes working there. So I'm gonna plant with my left. Ooh, maybe I'll show this with the orange first. All right, now it's gonna be looking sloppy. 10. Feel my butt start to raise, don't let that happen. Lock down. Get the head higher than the butt. Then all I gotta do is switch these. It's bothering me that the blue mat is slightly taller. But maybe that's good. Hey. What time we got? Good morning. Morning, Memento. Wow, we're in 40 minutes almost. We'll call it there. On Tuesday, I'm hoping to get 2 rounds of that primary. We just went through it once. And I'm sweating. It's Saturday. There's such a thing as grace as you're working on your sanctification of your physical form. That's for you, Josh. A little spiritual. All right, guys. Good work. Questions, please leave it below. There's some new stuff. Some weird stuff. I can always make little YouTube shorts, breaking those down in more in depth, probably with some different angles for you. But I kind of like this angle better. You get some grass. Done. Got a like. That's a first.